Hi, I'm Sarah.
I'm Chantele, and we're here to talk about episode 4 of the Challenge USA.
That's right. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Chantel, I just cut her off going live. But we were talking about how just watching a show once a week just feels like, what? So
And I was
slow.
literally like, oh, like, that's what I did to myself. Like, what's happening now? Okay. But yes, I feel like a lot has gone on in this season. I feel like it's moving fast, but nothing's really moved. It's only episode 4, and I feel like
It's only episode
lots have
4.
happened.
And there's a
Lots and lots and
thousand
lots.
people on this
Thousands of people are left.
cast.
Yeah.
Like we have no real clue about all of the little things happening because there's just too many people
Too many.
right now.
I would
All right.
love the live feeds for the challenge. Oh,
Apparently they would have been hot because this, I don't usually follow drama of any show, but is this normal? This is a
yeah.
lot. It
Yeah, it
is.
is. Well, I think it's because of the format where you have to throw people in and everybody's working to get together for at one point, but then against each other. So it caused for a lot of potential friction, especially with this algorithm and changing your allegiances and who you're partnered with might depend on who you're willing to throw in. Like if it was a season, because they've done it in the past, like battle of the seasons before, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
And so it would be in your best interest to really stay with your season because you are working together and you want to run the final together. But it's not
Right.
the case with this particular season. And so it just causes for a lot of drama because people that are supposed to be loyal to each other, or you think that would be, or that it would be in their best interest to, they might have other plans. So
Look,
yeah.
what I find this entertaining. Some people are very upset about a certain show going against each other, but I am thoroughly entertained. What? Even when people make horrible game decisions, and I'm not saying any of this is horrible, but I'm just saying you can make a horrible game decision and entertain the crap out of me because at least you're playing the game, right?
Absolutely. I'm not sure how I feel about the move this episode. I kind of go
Mm-hmm.
back and forth as oh, was it a good move or was it too early? Was it a good move? Was it too early? But
Yeah.
what I kind of landed on, it's a good move because she wants to be seen in a good light in the eyes of the producers, because she is willing to do something to create a lot of drama that's getting a lot of buzz. That's what we're talking about. And TJ, before the season started, was like one of the standout people was Alyssa. And I don't know if it was for
Ooh.
this move or if this was for moves that are going to be coming after this, but he said I can see her on the main show on MTV. So
Right.
if for anything, creating a name for herself as being willing to do whatever and being cutthroat, that could be what her intention is here, to make a
Right.
legacy. So
To get herself as a challenge regular. And hey,
exactly.
that's pretty darn good or smart there. All right, top of episode 4, we've got the algorithm giving us new pairs. We have Leo and Desi, Kyland and Alyssa, Ben and Azza. I was like, oh, Ben, take care of my Azza. Enzo and Cachet, David and Justine. I had my eye on this as soon as I saw that pop up. Xavier and Shan, Danny and Kira, DX and Sarah, Derek and Sarah. I thought, oh, that's interesting. Tyson and Kayla. I was like, yeah, Kayla, get it. Dom and Angela. And I honestly was like, oh, dang, they did Angela dirty this episode. And then Cinco and Shannon, who I also had my eye on because I was like, oh, that's dangerous.
Dangerous. I mean, yeah, the ones that you kind of mentioned were like, oh, it's going to be strong couples. But then I was like, oh, but it's going to be trivia. We saw this going to be trivia. So
Yeah.
strength doesn't necessarily matter. So then I was kind of like looking again. I'm like, who is considered typically smart? They might end up winning in this case. So yeah, originally I was like, ooh, strong duos. And I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
it's not going to matter. Waste of a strong duo.
Right. Well, Shannon feels the same way. Okay, so before we get to trivia, the daily, we see Justine and Cachet sort of talking about how, look, somebody was worried about Kylan and Alyssa, but then Justine is paired with a big brother, so you're safe, was the conversation here?
Yeah. So, I mean, Justine is kind of worried about David and his position in the game, but she's hoping the fact that he is still Big Brother, that they're going to want to be Big Brother strong and not necessarily throw them in. So she's going to be a little bit protected because it wouldn't start off that war. So I think she was feeling slightly safe in this case, but not safe in terms of performance ability. And so I think she's just kind of going back and forth like, I don't know about this partnership because...
Which is kind of how I think I felt and you felt maybe. As soon as you see that you're like, oh yeah, I am worried about a David
especially
Justine
like she just has come off like a good week, not the week before, but 2 weeks ago when she was with Tyson and like making a big move. And like, I really want to see her do well. And so I would be, if I were her, I'd be like, oh, I was on like an upward trajectory here. Like, oh, I get stuck with David now. Like,
right. Yeah. Okay. So then we see Derek and Alyssa chatting, and they're both kind of like, hey, we got backstabbed by the cookout, and we're going to kind of work together to rectify that.
And this is the thing is that like, even now after, you know, everything's been aired, we have Shan kind of being like mad at Alyssa for coming against a movement. And I'm like, it's not the movement that she's coming against. She's coming against the fact that somebody that she cared about a lot in the game lied for her the entire season. Even if it was for a good cause, she still was lied to for an entire season. And that doesn't feel good, regardless of the reasoning behind it. She understands, like, yes, you guys were doing it for a cause that was greater than me, and I appreciate that. And I go, amazing, like, awesome, you made history. But it still hurt me dearly, and I want revenge.
Yes. I honestly feel like the people who are saying, oh, Alyssa didn't want a black winner last Big Brother season is quite a stretch here, guys. Like, she lived through being lied to every day by someone she trusted, and she just wants revenge. That's what it is, guys. And I think it all comes down to your faves, right? If right now Taylor was like revenge focused, the world would be like, yes, girl, get it. So why is it not okay for Alyssa to get revenge? You know, it's like, we got to look outside our faves a little bit here.
Well, and also, like, don't make 1 + 3 = 2. Like, it's like we're not like the math isn't math thing here,
right?
Like the revenge she wants is against how she felt in the situation, not for what the product of the situation. And so I'm actually fine with her wanting revenge because I've been in some of these games before where like I was done super dirty, and I say that I'm over it. And I'm not, and I'll get you back. Like, it's just, you can't help it. It's you.
I truly relate to wanting revenge. Now, I still want you to make smart decisions and not let revenge drive you.
Absolutely.
But I absolutely understand that they just want to turn the tables and they want to have the upper hand this time. And they absolutely deserve to have that point of view because they got played.
Absolutely. And both Alyssa and Kylan and DX are all water signs, which are going to be emotional, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to take their feelings being hurt very well. And I believe both Shan and Xavier are Tauruses, I believe.
I know it's Xavier. Oh, she is?
I think so. It's either
Taurus or Pisces. Did you say Alyssa is a water sign?
Cancer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Alyssa and Kylan, both Cancers. Yeah.
Yes,
Derek's
both done dirty by the two Tauruses. Like, or maybe not. Sorry, Shan, but Shan wasn't. I don't think she was kind to them in the house at this point. So,
all right. Well, we are getting a vibe here in this episode, and then David gets his very first confessional.
So we're like, okay, David's going home.
I was like, oh,
it's his second confessional, actually.
Oh, is it?
He had one in episode 1, I believe.
Oh, I don't remember that one. I was like, oh, no, David just showed up in the show. We are in trouble, folks. I think
episode will be about him.
Yeah, I put in the Discord for my patrons that he is either leaving or going to elimination. Either way, going to elimination.
Yeah.
Like, it's happening. All right, now we talk to Shan and Xavier. Oh, good insurance paired up, guys. This is great. This is good for us.
I mean, definitely CBS here was not being discreet about the storyline for this episode. Even in the very beginning, with Xavier saying a storm is brewing and putting on his blanket over his head as he walks back into the house. And then, we see, Alyssa already talking about the Xavier stuff from past episodes. Like, I knew that this was probably going to be the revenge storyline playing out.
Right.
We just get beforehand just seeing Alyssa and Derek X talking. So now we're seeing Shan feeling really confident with Xavier. I'm just like, Shan, don't feel so confident with this man. This man has people with like arrows aimed at his back. Like, yeah.
Somewhere in here, Xavier says, well, I've moved past Big Brother 23. And I was like, yeah, I bet you have, because you won the season, sir.
Absolutely.
You were like, great, did it. Moving on with my life. There's 15 other people who did not win, who have to process what the heck happened to them.
And there's definitely a bunch of people that have been voted out or that were lied to about like their position in the game that didn't have the same outcome as you did, Xavier. So I was like, I rolled my eyes hard when he's like, I've gotten over it. It's like, of course you did.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have to experience any of the negative parts of playing the game. You got to win.
Right. You just sailed to the end. All right. Oh, there's another point here. I don't know if you noticed, but Xavier in his confessional was like, so in Big Brother 23, I played with Kyland, Derek, and Alyssa. And I was like, what a weird combo of names to say. Ozza's still in the game, and you didn't mention her. What?
Well, okay, we know he didn't play with Tiffany, right? Like, he wasn't really...
I mean, he technically played with Tiffany. If she were still on the challenge, I would think he'd name her.
Oh, okay, fair.
But she's out.
Well,
but he definitely played with Ozza.
Ozza didn't really make any decisions with him. He was definitely in the alliance though with Derek and Alyssa in the beginning. So I forget what it's called, Floral Flash, maybe. They were in an alliance together, other than the cookout. So maybe that's what he's referring to.
No, I think he just forgot Ozza. That's what I think.
I'm just trying to be nice here. Come on.
All right. TJ is already laughing. And I gotta say, this is great. I laughed so much during this whole challenge. This is trivia. And we're going to
staple.
Falling off knowledge. Okay, so trivia is a staple. So what is the staple here? They always ask questions doing something crazy?
Making them up high and either catapult them out, or to this time we had a trap door, or like sometimes they're leaning back and they just let them fall. Like there's always some sort of heights falling into water element. With trivia, they change up the format sometimes. Sometimes people will get strikes that they can like give if they get a question correct. They can give out a strike to somebody else, and 3 strikes, and then you get catapulted. They kind of change up the format sometimes, but it's always heights and fall into water with questions. Yeah.
Well, it's super fun because, like, even when they do an astrology question, I was like, honestly, up that high, I'd be like, what's science? What? I might forget everything. And that's why this challenge is so impressive to me, is because you got to know stuff, but like you might know it and just be like so terrified of the situation that your brain isn't working.
Well, I have to say that this group is smarter than the usual people that are on the challenge, because they don't always do the format where they find something that has many answers. Sometimes they actually just go like random questions to each person. So that also can be part of the format change up. But going back and forth with questions, like most of the time, dumb answers come out. And so that's also why it's hilarious. Like one of the funny ones is like, TJ's like to Johnny Bananas, I don't know if you've heard of him, but he goes, Johnny or Bananas, what is the national language of Australia? And he's like, Dutch?
Oh, God.
No, it's not done.
Obviously.
And so he gets like, so usually a lot of really dumb answers come out, and we didn't get that many dumb answers.
No.
That's also what's kind of funny, but these guys are a lot smarter.
But they did a good, edit with like, Derek doesn't know any movies, just like, oh, Danny's a professional athlete, but he doesn't know hockey. But he pulled out penguins. That was pretty impressive. How is Danny's wife Kiki becoming the star of this show?
She's had more confessionals than David. I was saying before that if he gets a Skype call from Kiki, I'm gonna be like worried, like that he's gonna be either going in or going home or winning an elimination.
But we have to imagine it's coming because Kiki is such a huge part of this.
Like, I want to know what Kiki looks like. Give me Kiki. Yeah. We were also suggesting that maybe one of the other staples in the main show is that there's themes. And so one of the themes is bloodlines. And so having like somebody that you're related to, but husband and wife would work, that, you compete together or, So some sort of theme thing. That would be great if she came.
Right. I thought TJ's laugh is hilarious, and he just made this so much more fun because he couldn't stop laughing.
Also Cinco, I was dying with Cinco, like how nervous he was and just like giggling, and he's just like, he's such a big guy, but you can see he's so scared, and he looks so cute.
And he's like, TJ, terrified. Dude, you're torturing us. Like, whoa. This whole thing was pretty interesting. Do we need to go through everything? Like, were there any highlights or any thoughts about this? Obviously some people are going to drop and some people aren't.
Yeah. I mean, I personally think that I like round robin questions a little bit better. Sometimes you're like, oh, they got easy questions and those questions are harder. So maybe that's why they didn't do that. But I just wanted to see maybe more funny answers and then funny answers and then seeing the funny answers and then them realizing that they're going to be catapulted or the trapdoor is going to open. Like I would have liked to see more of those moments because that's usually how it works. It's like Dutch, and then they fall. And so I would have hoped for that.
Do you want to see more of Dom saying sharks aren't animals?
I'm not a fan of Dom right now, so I'm not caring for what he's bringing in general.
Like, why are we arguing about this up here on this ledge? What are you even talking about?
I mean, I think that they're arguing about it because of the fact that he's saying it's wrong and they're going to drop. Okay. So we don't need to think about a next answer.
Yeah.
But
so Danny and Kira drop, the losers round, David and Justine drop, then Ozza and Ben, Angela, Dom, and that leaves us with Kyland and Alyssa as the team who doesn't drop. And I was like, oh yeah, honestly, I hadn't really thought about it because I don't know much about trivia and I didn't understand what was happening. But Kyland is like a savant. Like he's got just a bunch of knowledge up in that noggin.
Answer that many questions? Because it could have also happened that they were able to start. You know what I mean? So if you are the first of one of these big packs of questions, it's a lot easier for you to stay in the game because you're like, okay, well, I'm going to pick the most popular one. And then by the time it gets back to you, somebody's already is done. And so I'm wondering that's also if that's how they were able to win.
He definitely did answer several questions. I would have to go back and count. But when I watched it the second time, I always go back and watch it the second time before the exit interview. But Kylan was just spitting out answers left and right.
I'm proud of him knowing those astrology signs. So
yeah, right. All right. So Kylan and Alyssa are our winners here at this point, and David and Justine are the losers at this point. So they're automatically going into the arena, and no one is surprised because we saw this coming. David in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping that it wouldn't be the case because it's trivia and potentially you could do better. Do you remember what answer he went out on?
Who, David and Justine?
Yeah, the second, the losers bracket.
No, I don't.
Anyways, I just was curious, just because I'm like, they're smart people. Why did they I wanted to not to go into the elimination because I just was worried for Justine. you know?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm super concerned about them at this point.
Oh my God, did you notice though
Thank
in the
you,
challenge though,
Ray.
before they fell, when David gives Justine a high five for getting an answer right, he's like,
Yeah, and she's like, I will not take my hands off of this. Leave me alone. He was so into Justine this episode, y'all. Is there something going on? You guys know I'm not keeping up with this.
I don't think so.
But he was
have
trying.
heard
He was
that
hoping.
something might be going on with her and
Someone else.
Cinco.
What?
This is, I don't know anything at all. It's a slight internet rumor. But apparently Cache has unfollowed Justine
What?
recently. So
They've
I don't
been
know.
super close. Oh no.
So I don't know if it's something to do with the rest of the season or with maybe something going on with Justine and Cinco. I'm not sure yet.
It was the hockey question. That's right.
Oh, okay, right. I mean,
He said
okay,
Las Vegas.
Oh.
Which TJ was like, oh, they go every year. So apparently that was not a bad answer. I don't know. No one said Toronto Maple Leafs, though. Isn't that a team that always... Oh,
they never get there.
I was like, I know that.
Like the joke is that like Toronto has like the most loyal fans that never get to see a Stanley Cup.
I was like, for sure the Canadian team.
Montreal Canadiens maybe would be in a better because I've definitely touched the I think it, or maybe I'm thinking of, I don't know what I'm thinking of. Yeah. I've touched something.
You've touched.
I've touched a big trophy of some sort when a team's come into one of the places that I've worked.
Okay. That sounds interesting. Ray, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Yeah, he said Vegas for NHL. All right. So Kyland, Alyssa, Xavier. See a little chit chat between these three. And they're starting to take me in a direction that I just didn't see coming. I've been focused on David this whole time, and I'm worried. David doesn't seem to be showing much in this show. Justine, this might be trouble. And all of a sudden, Kylan and Alyssa are like, a trust has been broken. And Xavier's like, nah, right? And they all are laughing about it, but when he walks away, they seem like they're actually considering going after Xavier.
Well, he does also say in the, well, like, if you throw me in, like, and I come back, like, I'm coming after you two.
Right.
And I'm like, don't ever say that. That's like the rule of being thrown in. Don't say that you gave them permission to throw you in, kinda.
Yeah, and they laughed it off and were like, haha, just like you always do. I was like, this is not going in a way that you want it to go, Xavier. Like, this is...
I mean, I don't know why he was playing on such defense. Like, this is his people. He started off in the beginning of the conversation like friends of his winning power. And then at the end of it, it was kind of like he lost all of his power in this friendship dynamic. Like, why wasn't he suggesting who should be thrown in? Why wasn't he like trying to be like, hey, like this is who I think you should go in because then we could and this is how we could work together moving forward and that would break up. Like, show them a better option than you who they want revenge on. And so I think that that's because he kind of had his strategic game handed to him a little bit on the season that he won, and he didn't realize that just being in an alliance that protects you isn't enough to win other strategy games.
We don't know the full conversation here, right? We don't know everything that was said, but what we do know is that he had other people doing the strategy during Big Brother 23. So that, yes, I can definitely agree that that part of it, that he might be missing a little strategic lesson, or a little bit of knowledge there, and didn't know to pitch somebody else?
Absolutely. And so he's never really had to do that, right? He had Tiffany like just like putting out fires behind him before they really solidified that they have their partner that they're going to bring in their parachute or whatever. Like she was still getting him, making sure that he wasn't going up on the blog and all this stuff that he didn't really see went down. And
Right.
so he just thinks that he's an amazing game player, and like
Yeah.
everybody just like did whatever he wanted them to do, and he got to the end and he had the cookout and everyone was protecting him. He won some
And to be
competitions.
fair, Kylan did do like this is what I feel about Kylan. So Kylan, who was also very good at the game, I think second behind Tiffany, he took it upon himself to take Tiffany out for Xavier and set Xavier up with this beautiful path to the end with two goats that he could just choose from at any time. Like Kylan being upset in this moment that he got played makes me laugh because Kylan did this to himself. He put himself at Final Four with Xavier sitting with two goats that he had better relationships with and had gotten rid of Tiffany and Hannah, who would have actually backed up Kylan.
Or would at least have taken him to the final three.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what's hilarious at this point from my perspective. Then we go into deliberation here. And we're just going to stay on this path because Justine is like, I don't really want to go up against Shannon and Cinco. And then they just are like, well, what do you think about Xavier and Shan?
And
you're like, what?
I mean, I would have thought that they would have been more scared. But I guess they were more so wanting to protect Shannon and like just not wanting to make sure that Love Island goes home. Like one or two Love Island people go home for sure, as opposed to like maybe taking out a Survivor and a Big Brother, which is definitely better for their game.
Yeah. Okay. So in this whole conversation, and they're going to bring in Tyson, they're going to talk to Angela, and the more we're building towards, oh my gosh, they really want to take out Xavier and Shan. Is no one thinking David and Justine won't beat them? Like,
I don't know.
Wanting to make a move and throw someone into the arena is
maybe they're thinking that
they have to lose.
Justine is physically a lot more capable than Shan is. So maybe they're just like throwing it all on Justine being the better female competitor, and Xavier hasn't shown himself to be that great on this season competitively, so maybe he's not considered to being that super strong.
Right. I mean, it's pretty bold to put Xavier and Shan up against David and Justine and assume that David and Justine can beat them. Like, I was missing that discussion in this whole thing.
Well, I guess though it must have been though that they don't think that Xavier is that strong. We kind of hint to that when we get to the actual arena and for the elimination when Derek X is like, it's a puzzle. No, it's a puzzle. Don't do it. So I think that they're expecting them not to do well if it was anything other than a puzzle. So I guess they're not impressed by him physically on this season.
Right. That's interesting because I was unimpressed by Xavier's physical challenges in BB23, but everybody was like, but he's throwing. And he might have been. So I was.
He probably was like, oh, I'm going to lose. Let me throw it.
Like, yeah. It's like, oh, another one I threw. Oh, yeah. You know, it's hard to say. So that is interesting that they thought, yeah, maybe he doesn't have it. So Tyson's going to come in and be like, yeah, great. Do it. And then Angela's like, yeah, I give you my blessing. Oh, of course. Go for it.
And then she's like, how about we throw Shan under the bus instead? Yeah. Like,
I was like, Angela, yes, coming in hot. Oh boy.
I was fine with it. Personally.
Yeah, for sure. That's some game in right there. This is different. Okay. Last week, Angela and Tyson were like, get the weak people out. And then this week they're like, yeah, go for these big threats in the game. And I was like, y'all are taking me on a journey. I'm so confused. What is the strategy of this game?
I think for Angela and even Alyssa that Shan is quite unpredictable. We have Derek X talking about how he doesn't trust her, and she's playing up this like, I just want to be here to make friends, but you know that if she has an opportunity, she'll do whatever she wants. And we're also seeing in her ITMs that she doesn't like Alyssa, like, you know, that she doesn't like, I don't know if she said she doesn't like Angela, but we definitely know after the show that she doesn't like Angela. So like, I think that there's must be stuff also going on in the house that just be like, yeah, I got to get this person out, because if they have power, I don't trust what they will do with it. And so let's cut that. Who cares about Xavier? So I think even though it was about revenge, I do think that Shan being his partner and being somebody that they didn't trust, strategically especially, I think is also a reason why they're like, let's just get rid of that person as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The pair of them, you know, are two seeming threats. We've got a winner and a strategic icon, honestly, right there. So Shan is going to say in this confessional that Kyland is insufferable, and I fell out of my chair and I thought that was hilarious.
I wrote that down too.
Not hold back. She just says how she feels about things. And she says Big Brother isn't to be trusted. And I think that is true.
I asked James yesterday. I had the fortune of speaking with James a little bit with the boys. And I asked him, like, okay, why is Big Brother considered to be sneaky? But Survivor, they're scheming and plotting in the bushes and stuff like that. And then he actually explained why. And it's pretty good. He's like, well, Big Brother will be like, washing their hands strategically to overhear a conversation, or feigning sleeping, or, you know, popping up and just inserting themselves in conversations. And so I'm like, okay, fine. That's a bit sneaky.
I think it's true. I mean, Big Brother forces you to be super, super shady. You can be shady on Survivor, like Tony took it upon himself to build a spy shack and things like that. But I don't think you have to necessarily on Survivor. Maybe.
So all right, let's now I understand why she's a weasel and everybody's sneaky and these snakes. Yeah, I get it now.
Let's go into the arena. It's a puzzle. Oh no. Derek is like,
no.
You can literally see Alyssa go, like, what? You want me to switch this? They clearly didn't have a backup plan. They had not thought this through. And there is a mild panic. And I still am like, yeah. Don't do this. Are you kidding me? Xavier is going to beat David. That in my heart of hearts is where I was.
I was like, maybe they have some, like, I don't know. I don't know why that they were so set on these two for this particular elimination. I'm not sure why they didn't change their mind or have a backup plan. I did think that was a little bit strange that they were still going to go through with it, with the risk that they would come back pissed. But you know what? Maybe they're like, we're going to have to take this risk, because if we're building storylines for ourselves moving forward, like, we got to take a risk that this person's going to come back, but the production knows that we will swing big and deal with the consequences. So if that's the long game plan, like, maybe she's just like, no, we got to go through with this. We can't back down. Can't chicken out here. Like, we're swinging big and it's happening. So I really think that's why.
And I think it is the better story, because Kyland and Alyssa are paired up. They're never going to be paired up again, more than likely. Kyland and Alyssa taking revenge on Xavier is a much better story than in 2 weeks Kyland wins again and then he finally gets to take revenge on Xavier, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, they stuck to the guns. They're like, challenge producers, this is how we roll.
And even if they come back, that's still more drama, because like, who would be paired up on that algorithm next week? That's gonna be Alyssa and Xavier,
you know,
like 100%.
Right?
Shan and Kyland, they're insufferable. You're gonna suffer with me like as a duo. So I think it's a win-win for production, whether they win or lose. So I think that's why they also dug their heels in here.
Well, they say it out loud. Here we go. We got David and Justine standing there. Kyland and Alyssa are like, Shannon and Xavier, help yourselves down. The faces we get. Now, talking to them later, they knew it was a possibility, but in this moment, they look shook. Very shocked.
I would be pissed. But
they also were very pissed.
who else was up for, like, so it wasn't going to be, I mean, it could have been if they just decided to stick Big Brother strong, obviously it could have been Shannon and Cinco, but like
Right.
maybe they're trying to build something with Justine potentially, you know, like
right. They, you know, they showed us not much else in the edit. We knew it was going this way. But yeah, Xavier and Shan are shocked and they're mad. And from this moment, they make a plan for Xavier just to smash through all of the glass himself, take the penalties, and move forward. That's the strategy they take, whereas David and Justine do it the way they're supposed to. They, I guess, accidentally do mess up because they have a small penalty. So they're going to smash through this glass. They're going to end up with a 50-second penalty. That is almost a minute that they have to sit there, while David and Justine only have a 10-second penalty and get a head start on this puzzle. I still think Xavier and Shan are about to pull this out.
I mean, it was definitely really quick and really close, but I really think that penalty was the determining factor of the spoiler alert loss, because I think that if they had been able to start on it when they were at the end point, they had just like one piece that was in the wrong space. They would have had time to have reconfigured it at least once and potentially get everything in the right spot. So I do think that they made a colossal error here by not just taking the time, because they were still, even though Xavier was just punching through all of the glass panes, they weren't that far ahead. So like they would have been further ahead without a time penalty if they just had done it correctly. But I guess Shan didn't want to break the glass.
Yeah, she said that Xavier was the one who was like, I'm just going to break it. And she was like, great, fine. I don't feel like breaking it. Like she wasn't really motivated to break it. So it sounded like she just went along with that strategy. But yeah, David and Justine were right there on their tail. So you could see it wasn't buying them a lot of time to do the smashing that way. And you know, yeah, I mean, they acknowledged in the interview with me that they didn't need much more time. Like, if they could have just had a couple more seconds, they would have beat David and Justine on the puzzle. They were just fixing that one piece. And but here we are. Boom!
They probably got overconfident, right? Like, I'm going against David. Like, we could take the 50-second penalty. We're both good at puzzles. Like, we've got this. And I think that they didn't think through the fact that these two people could potentially beat them. It's happened in the main season of the challenge before, where a huge like fan favorite, like multiple season winner was going against, it was actually Jay from Survivor, and I think really underestimated his opponent and ended up losing in a complete upset because he was kind of like dilly-dallying a little bit, just thinking that like, oh, there's no way this kid's gonna beat me, and he ended up losing. So I think it was a case of underestimating opponents.
Yeah. I mean, I can't blame them. I was underestimating them too, but I was so floored that David and Justine pulled it off. And they got a little tricky with the edit too. Like they made it look like this puzzle was all the way when it wasn't. But anyway, boom, they got the puzzle, and all of a sudden Xavier and Shan are out, and Alyssa is like, oh my God. Oh my, Kylan's like, okay. Oh Lord. Oh my God. Like Derek and Alyssa started celebrating. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
They like ran to each other in the back and like danced and hugged. I was like, what just happened?
I was also really excited for David and Justine. Like he was giving Justine a lot of props, being like, you did this. And like, you know, David has been taking a lot of beatings from all of us on like his abilities. Why is he cast? Why is he here? Not getting any confessionals. And so I did feel good that he got a little bit of redemption here in his capabilities, because not everybody can say that they've won an elimination. And so now he can say that he is one for, I guess one for zero. I don't know. Yeah. He's won one and he's lost none. And not everybody can say that. He has a better win record than Xavier. So
I mean, he does. I mean, and they showed him like working out. You know, they gave him a little bit of credit in this episode, and obviously he's super redeemed himself a bit and was like, yeah, I can win something. And I mean, he was so kind to Justine. I was like, he really wanted to be on Love Island in the first place, and they didn't cast him on Love Island and threw him into Big Brother. And so he's finally like, hey, can I be on Love Island? He's like, look how I am with these girls. See, I'm cool. I'm cool like that.
David.
But yeah, big props to him. He, you know, showed up and clearly is on the show now. So I can't believe it happened. But Xavier and Shan are obviously not happy.
Of course.
They got.
But they didn't play that well, right? Like they could have ensured themselves, like just relying on the numbers is never enough, you know? And she should have known better, but he didn't know any better. And so
look, you this happens in the games. Like people get eliminated or evicted or voted out. That's just how the games work. So
and like we always want a blindside, right? Sorry
yeah.
with you.
I mean, yeah, super entertaining for us. That I get Alyssa wants revenge. I'm shocked that Kylan thinks that he needs revenge, but
I mean,
okay.
I think the fact that Xavier kicked him out at 4 and didn't go to the end, the 2 Superman versus Batman, like, you know, that was his whole plan, right? The 2 Titans go against each other, like, let's do this. And he's like, yeah, bye. Like, so I think Kylan is a little bit bitter. You saw what he said to him on his way out the door. Like, I think that was, like, obviously not expressed in the right way, but I think that that's the amount of like anger he had towards Xavier for kind of going against their agreement. So
right,
I think he was pretty pissed.
Remember when Big Brother 23 ended and then they like lived together and extended the season for like 6 months or something?
Xavier wasn't there though, was he?
No, Xavier went home, but I don't think Big Brother 23 processed. I think they extended the season for themselves and slowly went home, right? And they've all tried to stay best friends. And, you know, I don't think anyone actually processed the season until they went to the challenge.
I think, though, that Alyssa might have watched back the season, though.
Oh, I bet she did. Yeah, for sure.
I don't think Tiffany did.
And I think Derek did, right? Didn't Derek and Claire?
Probably. I would imagine they would, because it seems like Claire gave him some lessons on like what to do, like okay, watch this and let's watch these people's seasons, and so he did some homework. So I would imagine that he would have watched their season of Big Brother. But
yeah, she's also taught him about Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Derek didn't know about Survivor, but now he does, and now he's playing with those people. Look, was this move too soon?
Did they find out?
Yeah, we don't know. I don't know. But it's still hilarious that they took out Xavier and Shan.
Yeah. I mean, I know it could be considered too soon, but also you might not ever have that chance again, and they might get you first. And so sometimes it's like when you have the opportunity, you sometimes have to take it and hope that it's the right time, because you might never get that opportunity again. What if she's never in a power position again? She's never going to be with Kylan again for it to be the dynamic that we were talking about before. So like it might be the only time to take the shot. So do it.
Yeah. I mean, Alyssa and Angela are close. We know that. And Angela has been able to build a connection with Tyson. Maybe Alyssa feels like she's got plenty of numbers in other places and that she doesn't want to rely on Big Brother.
Mm-hmm. And also someone was mentioning, I think in the comments, was that Justine, like Tyson has mentioned Justine a lot in some of his his podcasts that he's been talking about this season. And so maybe he has a really good relationship with Justine since they won together, that maybe Tyson's like, hey, like keep my girl Justine around. Like she's a good competitor. I would love to see her here. So maybe that was also maybe a favor from Melissa, and Melissa can get some, you know, some currency back with Tyson and Angela. So I think she probably made some deals that they didn't show
Yeah.
us as well.
Right, exactly. I think there's stuff. I mean, we know there's stuff we're not seeing. James, in his deep dive, said he was working closely with Alyssa and Derek, and like this plan was in the works. Like they stepped into the challenge saying, when can we take out Big Brother players? Like that was already in the works. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all that they made deals, got some backup to do this. So I don't think it's on the surface like too soon. You don't, you lost your ally.
And also, maybe what's happening right now is a new majority is growing, and it's going to go against it's like Survivor people soon. Because like if you have say Justine, and you have maybe Kylan, you have Alyssa, you have Angela, you have Tyson. Who else might be part of that group? Well, that's 5 people right there. Maybe they're going to group together and be like, okay, let's take out Sarah and Ben and Dom and all these other people that are on the outside, like. Or not on the outside, but in Survivor that aren't part of this new group that's building together. So who knows what other factions are kind of being created right now that we haven't seen yet because it hasn't been part of the storyline. So I can't say that this was a super bad move because we don't know what deal she's made in place of somebody that she doesn't trust anymore that she wants a revenge against. Like.
Yeah, I mean, again, I cannot fault her for that at all. And yeah, only time will tell if this pays off or not. So I appreciate the move.
I'm fine with it.
Right?
You're like, why are you fine with it? Like, it's so stupid. She's going against Big Brother Roadshow. And I'm like,
who cares?
I don't know.
If she thinks she has backup elsewhere, it doesn't have to be show by show by show. Like, make an alliance with the people that you think you can work with. You and I both commented after the episode that we wish that we could see more of Shan. Like we definitely weren't ready to see Shan go, but I can't say that the move was bad. So
correct. I mean, I wish that Shan had either maybe had better partners or was able to have power a little bit earlier so we can see her play the game. But unfortunately, it wasn't set up for her to do well this season. It wasn't her game to win this season. And so unfortunately, she got played. Like the game played her, and Alyssa played her. Like,
she
lost.
Yeah. I mean, I think Shan was probably doing her typical Shan magic, but it was with maybe just the Survivor players. And
it wasn't working on DX, and DX probably relayed all that information to Alyssa too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust
she mentioned she wanted to work with Tiffany when she got, like, that was her original strategy, but that Tiffany wasn't really talking to her. So I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah, I feel as though both Tiffany and Shan, they came in with, I think, themselves thinking that they are going to be the master strategists and they're going to have people coming to them with alliance and they're just going to be able to like dictate what's going on just because that's what they had in their own original seasons. And I don't think that they realize that this type of game allows different people to be able to take control. And if you do not want someone to take control, you can throw them into elimination and then they have to fight for their life. So I think that they just underestimated the game that they were playing. Or misjudged it, anyways.
Right. Well, this is interesting, Cindy. The title is In Tyson We Trust, and the episode with Tiffany's name in it is When She Went Home. You can't give away who goes home in a title episode. Come on, challenge. And also, I'd be shocked if Tyson left already.
In Tyson We Trust. That sounds like, to me, this is what I think is going down. That...
Oh, wasn't going bad.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm just like totally guessing, but like that Tyson is going to throw down someone that he has an alliance with, or that he has some sort of like a trust with or a pact with. We know that Tyson doesn't care. He only cares about himself, and he will do whatever. He'll say whatever he needs to say and do whatever he wants to do. And so I feel as though he is going to do that to someone. My guess is actually it's Cachet, because there is a scene in the season trailer, I think it was, where she's yelling at Tyson, being like, I trusted you, or like I something about like, I don't know. We talked about like, I don't know, something, there's some sort of conflict that they have. I believe it was with Tyson. And I'm wondering if Tyson is throwing her, like he wins power and is throwing her into an elimination. So that's my guess. I don't
Well,
like
honey, if you trust Tyson, that's on you because y'all just met. Like his Survivor people can barely trust him, and
but
they
she's
have.
probably not watched Survivor,
Oh,
so
gosh.
she might not know. She's charming.
She needs to go on Big Brother. Her confessionals are like DR gold. Like she, this is the first time I've met her. Like I don't know who she is, but she is really entertaining when it comes to confessionals.
She was a superstar on Love Island. Like
Yeah,
she was very entertaining on Love Island.
I can see
Yeah,
that.
she's good.
Yeah, I think Big Brother is the next step for her.
I don't think I think
willing
she's
to do
bored
it.
by. I don't think she'd be. It'd be too boring for her, and I don't know if she would likes the strategy part. I'm not sure, but
she might go out pre-jury. She might be too sassy for a Big Brother house.
But she wants to be an actress in real life, so we might see her in some stuff.
Oh yeah, that was so funny. She's like, I'm an actor, and you asked me to do actors, and I'm like, what's an actor? I was like, yes, that's how I would be up on that ledge. It's so hilarious. I loved that. Yeah, wherever she wants to go, fine.
So yeah, that's my guess though, is that in Tyson We Trust, that doesn't sound like Tyson going home. It sounds like Tyson betraying somebody that goes home.
Yeah, so maybe he's in charge. Yeah,
like is at risk of going home.
And also, if he does go home, then you've done 2 episodes where you put their name in it and they went home. I don't like that. Don't give it away. Like that can't be a giveaway, right? Come on.
In Tyson We Trust, and then he goes home. I just like that's just too on the nose.
Yeah, it definitely would make more sense for him to be in charge, and he backstabs somebody who thinks that they can trust him. Let's hope for that, I guess.
Because yeah, I mean, if it was the next episode and like he backstabs somebody this episode coming, and then the next episode's in Tyson We Trust, we just haven't seen him really backstab anybody yet for it to have somebody to be getting revenge on him, to be throwing him in, to be going down into an arena.
But unless you want his money, though. But again, you have to assume he's going to win in elimination. That's what makes me nervous about. I would have been like, great, David's going home this week. Like, what other weak team can we throw in there and just like one of them can go? But these people swung for the fences, and I'm here for it. Please, savage gameplay, love it, all about it.
All about it. In the challenge, like, because you have to go in and fight for your life. Like, I like that. It's not just a vote, you know what I mean? And so you're not down and out. Like, you can take it into your own hands. So that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy the challenge, is like, you got to fight to be here, and it shows a lot of heart. So
in your recap right after the episode, I was surprised that your co-hosts were like, oh, not a good episode.
No, I think they thought it was a good episode. They were mad that Shan was gone.
Oh, okay. They were saying not a great gameplay, I guess is what they were saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. You're mad that Shan is out for sure. We hadn't, I mean, she definitely was in every episode, being sassy. But yeah, unless somebody was protecting her, there's not much you can do in this game. You got to win challenges.
You got to win. You got to win and set yourself up. And if you're not talking to the people that are winning, like, and you don't like them, what do they want you around for? They don't.
Yeah.
You can't just hope that you're protected by your numbers when it's not part of the game. Right. It's like a gentleman's handshake. Like, we can go against that whenever we feel like.
All right. Well, another episode that I love. This is my summer show. Yeah, for sure. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much for joining us, hanging out with us. And if you're watching later, please leave a comment. Let us know how you feel about this move. How do you feel about revenge?
Revenge.
Are you here for it?
I'm here for it this time around. I'm sorry. They didn't play that well. Come on. Save yourself. Say something. Give another option.
Yeah.
Always give another option. Don't be fine with going in, So yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, don't be fine with going in. And don't just threaten that you're going to come for them later. Yeah. Like, then you're like, all right, well, then I'll come for you now. Right?
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Be like,
will you get a chance?
Be like, I am loyal to you. I'm making up for what I did last time. I owe you guys. Let me help you get to the end.
Take me out right before the final. Like, something.
Absolutely. Like, say all of that stuff, pump those people up, make them feel like they're amazing. and that you're learning from them. Yes. Don't be like, fine, I'll come for you.
I'm
Like
so
that just doesn't work.
Like, how can I make this up to you? Can I help you get to the end and
Yeah.
win?
Right.
Can I do
Yeah.
that?
Don't be
Let
like,
me
get
help
over
you.
it. I won.
Right? They're not doing this right.
Although I do love that in the confessionals when Xavier's like, I'm still rich and screw you. And I'm like, yes.
You are.
Absolutely. I love it. All right. Thank you guys. We will, schedule change. Chantele and I will not be here next Saturday. We're going to do it at Friday, 12 Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern is what we said, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we will see you guys hopefully on Friday. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right. What is my anchor? Okay. Bye. Bye.
Bye.